let's touch base now with our reporter Linda Mnisi, who's been following court proceedings at the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial in the High Court in Pretoria. Linda, a very good morning to you. The SAPS forensic officer Thabo Mosia has been continuing his testimony today, and he has in fact conceded that he's not a forensic expert, because yesterday he was tasked with bringing his qualifications to the court.
Absolutely, Paul. His level of education, particularly during the time when this particular incident happened, facing scrutiny here in court, Advocate Mshololo, as you rightfully mentioned, then going into his level of education and perhaps some of the courses that he took prior to him arriving at the scene or prior to the incident happening. And he detailed some of the short courses that he did, which then granted him an opportunity to then further do a B.Tech in, of course, forensics. And he says that the prior, in fact, courses that he took with the SAPS were the ones that he took for about 5 years. So after that 5 years, he got a certificate, which then meant that by the time he attended to the Senzo Meyiwa crime scene, he had been, had that certificate for about a year. This comes, of course, as the evidence that he's collected comes under scrutiny, looking into how he collected the evidence, certain pieces of the evidence that he may have missed. You will remember Sergeant Thabo Mosia also indicated that he visited the crime scene, in fact, twice. And the second time, the crime scene management task team, was called to come to the scene. And I remember him specifically being asked about the bullet projectile, which was found during the second visit to that particular scene. And you'll remember that question comes at the backdrop of statements by witnesses who said that there was a cleaning of that crime scene by one of the neighbors, and he did confirm and admit to the court that during his first visit, that particular bullet projectile was not in the scene. He did not see it, but only picked up during the second time around, and that raised the question around whether or not it was planted in the scene. And we're hearing for the very first time from Advocate Mshololo that that very same bullet projectile is the one that is linking these accused to the crime.
So let's now go back to other aspects of this matter when it comes to the state now wanting to bring in more exhibits, and Advocate Mshololo trying to fight her case and make her point with an exhibit that was not presented prior to the process resuming.
What Advocate Mshololo is basically arguing is that these exhibits should have been brought up during, of course, the testimony, during evidence in chief, and not when he's now facing cross-examination. You'll remember Sergeant Thabo Mosia also being asked about, when exactly he, in fact, registered or booked in this evidence that he collected. A lot of questions also around when he booked this particular evidence in. You'll remember he did indicate that he took the evidence and then kept it in his safe and only booked it in just after 8 o'clock on the 28th of October 2014, That would mean that it would have been about a day after he collected all of that evidence. Sergeant Thabo Mosia saying that, in fact, he also did not record the time that he took this particular evidence. He's also questioned broadly around when he collected this evidence that is contained in Exhibit B when he came back to the scene for the second time, and what he was doing with it during the time when he kept it in his safe. Advocate Mshololo saying that the reason why he did not book it in on the very same day that he collected this evidence was because he had been tampering with it.
Very well, Linda Mnisi, let's leave it there for now until proceedings resume again at the High Court in Pretoria at around 2 o'clock.